Welcome to All Aboard with Ned.
Because you guys prepare for it, right?
Adam.
I only get burned or nothing. So.
And LK.
It's like, where's my fucking steak? I want steak every day. All right, another episode of All Aboard with Ned, Adam, and LK. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for watching last week. Last week's was great with Tim and Canton. Hoping to get more guests. If you guys have any interest in sharing stories with us, more than welcome to reach out through DM, either to Adam, Ned, or myself. We are looking to not only share the stories but also expose new mini fans that would like to be part of the world. With that, good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, what's going on?
Good evening.
Hey.
Good evening, gentlemen. I like that. LK's being awfully formal.
Guys, excited for tonight?
I am.
For anal tonight?
Network.
I mean, it's a belated birthday present for me, but yeah.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
I'm so excited about the topics today. I'm a politics junkie. Yeah, not junkie. And when I heard yesterday about the nomination for VP, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be fun. And yeah. On my Facebook, I have a lot of majority of my friends are Democrats or left leaning, and I posted a GIF of someone laughing. That was all I posted, and a lot of people asking me, why are you posting that? Is that about the elections? Why are you laughing? I'm like, this is a joke, it's gonna be the Kamala Harris show. Joe Biden
so sensitive.
Yep.
Joe Biden's in it for the ride, and it's kind of stupid, right? Because I mean, if he doesn't die before the end of 4 years, if he gets elected,
I mean, he will.
She's gonna be running the show for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And she's a Vander pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I was reading today that she's not even full African American, right?
No, she's not.
No.
She's
of Jamaican descent, and I think an Indian. I think Native
Indian
American
as well. Yeah.
India,
No, Native American. Native American, yes, what Elizabeth Warren pretends to be.
Right.
But see, this is the other bullshit, guys, because you can only be considered African American, or even let's say African, right? Mm-hmm. If you were born here, what if Jamaica has a lot of African descent, so why can't you call yourself black?
Right.
Why can't you be considered black?
Right.
So this kind of separation that pisses me off. Black, African descent is African descent, regardless if you were born in the States or in Jamaica or anywhere else.
Correct.
So that's why I don't like the African American denomination. I prefer African descent.
Well, I don't like because I don't like any hyphenation at all. That kind of goes against the culture that I was brought up in, which was we're all Americans, and you are of Irish descent, you're Jewish, you're Latin descent. You're not that was what we're not supposed to be, Italian American.
Yep.
I mean, the other big thing that we just can't go unmentioned is how no one in the media, or especially the mainstream media, who's obviously just gonna go full tilt for them. Nobody's talking about the fact that she basically accepted a job offer from a man who she called a racist and a rapist.
Yep.
I mean,
I think we should set the betting line now. What are the odds that she gets asked that question? Never.
By anyone other than Trump?
Exactly. Never.
Never.
I don't even think Pence would ask her if they had a VP debate. I'm not sure he would even bring it up.
No, he's not as aggressive as Trump, so I don't think he will.
No.
But here's the thing, right? And that's why I always thought that running candidates would never pick someone that had participated in the primaries, exactly because of that. Right?
Yep.
That's the risk you run, because those debates are very heated, and she clearly attacked him, and now they're best buddies. Fuck that. That's bullshit. It's such a hypocrisy.
Or which is the bullshit? Was it the bullshit? Was the attack bullshit?
Exactly.
Or was this bullshit? So you don't really know. It's all a fraud.
Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
a fraud. You're right.
Although-
I never liked that. And that used to be much more traditional in the past, the past 50 years of the nominee grabs the second place finisher in the primaries. Like, because usually they're from a different region of the country and it might bring a different demographic and vote. So you've got one end of the party and the other end of the party. But no, it's dumb to do that, because I know I couldn't be friendly if someone, accused me of rape. Oh yeah, she's gonna be my number 2 now.
Exactly.
Really? Get the fuck out.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah, like
on-
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
No.
No, I was gonna say, like, if you debate but you are respectful is one thing.
Exactly.
But during the primaries there was no respect. Right? They were
It
all
did,
going at
yeah,
each
it was
other's
all
throats.
slinging mud. And the other thing with this is, on the one hand, I will have to say, of everyone that could have been picked, this is I mean, I think that this was as clear as day for weeks, if not months, that she was going to be picked. But she's a lot less ultra liberal,
Correct.
super left. Like, it's not like we're getting an AOC or Bernie bro type. So
No.
I'm okay with that. But it's already started. So today, and I'm just pulling up the quote here.
Look at
They
the
were
market
talking
today.
about, well, besides the market, I mean, we'll get into that in a
They
second.
like
But
they like her.
yeah. But I mean, they today during the press conference that she had, she was asked about the coronavirus pandemic. And this is where I really just this is where I'm drawing the line with the politics bullshit. Her quote was, "The coronavirus pandemic didn't have to be this way." Then later, when discussing Ebola, she said, "You know what happened then? Barack Obama and Joe Biden did their job. Compare that to the moment we find ourselves in now." So what she's saying is we can compare Ebola, which has a cure, which isn't an unknown, brand new, rampant worldwide potentially biochemical warfare disease. Shout out Tim McCann. To fucking the coronavirus. And I'm just, this is where, listen, it was a running joke among Democrats that when Obama was in office, everything that went wrong, a conservative would yell, "Thanks, Obama." And I get it. It's always the way it's been, and it's always the way it will be. But at a certain point, when are we going to draw this line? And this is what I'm just so dreading for the next few months with this election, is that every single time the sun doesn't shine and, the day isn't perfect, it's going to be Trump. And every time it's a perfect day, Trump will say, "Look at what I did." And I'm just, I just can't fucking take this shit anymore.
Yeah, the extremes are horrible, right? But back to her, I was listening on the radio that her history as a prosecutor is not great for the black community.
No.
Right?
No.
It was very.
It's not great for any just community.
Correct.
I mean, she's got some corrupt shit in her background.
Right. She's got withholding evidence so that would set defendants free.
Yep.
She's got there was another one, something else, and I've got to read. I'm going to read more into it as we go forward. I'm just amazed that, and I know she's far out there, but I like Tulsi Gabbard. I like Tulsi Gabbard much better and she destroyed Kamala. Yeah.
Yep.
For many reasons.
For many reasons.
Yes.
And I don't agree with her points. I don't follow in line 100%, but what a much better candidate she would have been. Much better.
I agree.
So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Nat, you guys know where I'm from, but it's basically systemic, right? In Latin America, like when left-leaning governments take over, they just destroy countries. I think the U.S. has a better system in place so far that it can kind of resist that a little bit. But if you compare, Obama and even Bill Clinton with the possibility of Biden and Kamala, they are way more left than Obama and Clinton were. So the U.S. is slowly flirting with the extreme left, and that worries me a lot.
Well, you're right, because it is a flirtation, but it's also because of Trump, right?
Yes, because the extremes, right? People want to get rid of him, and they are willing to do that at any cost. And it's a huge cost. It's a huge cost.
And shout out to the Channel Zero boys, but it's pretty clear from what they put. And I'm not a conspiracy person at all, but it's all because Trump was going to drain the swamp and expose what's really happening. But he didn't realize how deep the swamp goes. It's layers and layers of.
And I mean, Nat, honestly, there's probably a lot of Republicans that are also in the mud.
100%.
So
100%.
Like,
Yep.
in public they all say, "Oh, I'm defending Trump," and the Democrats are like, "Oh, fuck Trump," but behind
Right.
closed doors, they're probably all, planning on how to keep Trump away from draining the swamp. So
Yep.
it's
It's correct. It's the sword swings both ways.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So
So
it's going to
my
be an
my
interesting
worry,
fall.
my worry is not only the flirting with the extreme left, is that if Biden wins, I'm predicting 12, like 3 terms of Democrats.
Yeah.
Not only a possible re-election, but another term of
Correct.
Democrats after that, and that's gonna fuck with
Yep.
everything.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
It's it's
Yep.
tough, man. It's tough because like those, like, I don't want to criticize, but you see on universities it's very biased towards the left. And I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was 2016, someone holding a Israeli flag at UC Berkeley, and people went after this person, like attacking him, and say, "You guys are
Yep.
whatever, you guys are bad, Israeli people bad." The same
Yep.
person, half hour later, holding a Palestinian or whatever, the
Yep.
terrorists,
Hezbollah.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yep.
flag. People would stop and say, "Hey, good job, man, and we'll support you."
Yeah,
Blah
of
blah.
course.
So it's
Of
such a
course.
hypocrisy and brainwashing,
It's a
you know.
Yep.
brainwash.
And then all the social uh, welfare and help that comes with the extreme left,
Yep.
you know, plan of governing and trying to cater to the population and making them at the end of the
Yep.
day lazy, because then they get dependent,
Yeah.
on the government, and then
Yep.
that's all they need. Once you're dependent on the government, you're gonna vote for
Yep.
them.
No,
Yeah.
totally. And there's also, a degree of it's as they walk around and talk about how they're so open minded and they're liberal and they're this, but they're just as close minded as the extreme right. They're just close minded as
Yeah.
anyone that they attack. It's, I mean, not to mention he who shall not be named. But it's the same type of thing. You disagree with someone and you get attacked, and it's branded in the sense of I'm I'm attacking you, but it's justified because I'm right and you're a racist. You're a bigot. I can call you whatever I want. I can stand outside your synagogue and hold a sign on Yom Kippur and say, uh, free Palestine and Jews are perpetrated or Israelis are attacking Palestinians. I'm brain dead today. It's been a long day. And enacting another Holocaust this time against the Arabs and blah blah blah. And it's just like the level of hypocrisy. Okay, I think you hit it right on the head. That's the biggest and just that's just what it all comes back to. It's just all
Yeah.
about hypocrisy there.
Yeah, and another hypocrisy, right? You get like those like wannabe lefties wearing like Che Guevara shirts
Oh,
and adoring,
those have been around for a long
adoring,
time.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
hate that
so
motherfucker.
adoring Fidel Castro or Hugo Chavez, right? Those, and like you see people within minorities liking these guys who were
Yeah.
extremely against homosexuality,
Yeah.
against blacks,
Yeah.
against everything that those minorities are kind of defending them for.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm like, can you go just fucking read a book?
Well, that's what I
History book,
say.
and get
That's what I
informed.
always say. Like, if you want to talk about progressiveness, you want to talk about that, and then you attack Israel, for example, of all countries, who is the only country in the Middle East where if you are a gay person, you
You're fine.
are actually a person. You will
Yep.
be considered a person. You can live your life. And it's just it's
Adam,
it's
we know.
insane.
LK and I spent many time at a kabuki.
Kabuki.
And we know how great it is.
Adam, are you Jewish?
I'm not sure. Dumas, are you going to come on the show and we can discuss Judaism? But no, but the thing that I wanted to just also throw in is I know we talk about now how it's so mainstream and especially with celebrities and with everything in Hollywood to be all ultra left wing and push people like Che Guevara rather and Fidel Castro, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
But think about this. What was one of the most famous Broadway musicals that involved South Americans?
What is it?
American?
Evita, which
Oh,
was a story about Eva Peron, who it was narrated by Che, and it just conveniently left out all of the maggots, right? Like, not forget talking about the fact that they harbored Nazis. Forget talking about how corrupt they were and all that. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of the show.
We should wrap this up, but we can go on a tangent on the which we'll cover in KMS's World History.
There you go. I was gonna say we're setting you up for a free plug there.
Nice ad. But so let's do a quick election predictions. Go ahead, Ned. Who do you think is gonna win?
I will say now, I still think it's going to be much closer than it was pre-COVID, but it's still going to be Trump. I would have swore Trump in a landslide, but not anymore.
I am going the opposite in the sense that I do think it will be a lot closer than it would have been pre-COVID, and I thought that Trump would win in a landslide. But unless things turn around COVID-wise, I think that it'll be Biden.
But it won't.
Yeah,
right.
So
that's the problem.
Purposely kept that way, right?
I think it's gonna be like Ned. I think it's gonna be close. I think Trump wins, but loses on the popular vote, wins on college, and I want to see all the triggered people again. Crying because
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I think whoever wins will probably win the popular and the electoral college. It was just a freak. It's just a freak what he did. He lost the big cities, but he won the heartland. I think now more people come out.
You know what's that called, Ned? Big data. He's all about.
I was gonna say, let's.
Republicans are all about they invest so much money in technology to analyze the data. And they knew where to focus their campaign. So.
Yep.
Anyway, it's been what? 3 weeks?
Speaking of crazy worlds and societies that are imploding.
3 weeks without our.
Yeah, really, right?
The reason we are here.
Yep.
The center cannot hold when it's this week has been really odd with that.
The name of the channel here on the top right-hand corner. Yeah. How are you guys dealing with Kirk? What are your impressions?
So, I've been thankfully very busy over the past few weeks between just work and family stuff going on. So I haven't really had as much free time as, normally the end of summer slow days typically can lend itself to. But, I have found myself listening to a lot of old shows. Again, just, going through on YouTube, just listening to concerts of just different bands and whatnot while I'm working. But, for the most part, all other podcasts are still pretty much ruined for me. I used to be pre-Kirk. I used to listen to a lot of podcasts and a lot of Barstool Radio. And and then once KMS started, because I shouldn't say pre-Kirk because I've been listening to Kirk since CEI, but pre-KMS. And then once KMS started, I can't listen to Part of My Take anymore, really. I can't listen to KFC Radio or any of the other ones. So I've been going back, listening to a lot of the earlier shows and whatnot, but it's been interesting in the world.
And for my sense, there is a void at 11 o'clock, and that also I gotta say that kind of like anticipation, and if it's 11:05, you're like, where the fuck is the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
But what I've been doing to compensate is not necessarily at 11 o'clock, but I've gone back to the beginning and I'm moving through day by day. I'm resisting the temptation to play, say, 2 episodes or 3 in a day, which could be like 8 or 9 hours, right?
Yeah.
So I'll play, I'll the problem with Apple is, scrolling all the way back to the goddamn.
It's so fucking annoying.
Fucking annoying.
It's so fucking annoying.
What I try to do is, right before the end of the Jim Browdy and then the Donkey I stop it so that it always has 4 seconds to play. So there's the date.
Yep.
All right, October 21st. Okay.
Yep.
And at least I know where to go.
Yep.
But that's what I've been doing. I fight the urge to play more than 2, because what I would do at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, let's say in the morning, 5 a.m. If there was nothing on YouTube Kirk related, I would play yesterday's again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's when I'm walking the dog, doing my shit.
Yep.
Getting the workday done. Stop it during conference calls and shit.
Yep.
Start it again. And then no matter where I am at it, 11 o'clock when the new one drops, that one's done. I'm on to the next one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I was listening to in a 24-hour period, the same episode twice. So filling my day, because you guys are right. It's like some some of the. I'm trying to get into other podcasts. I like the history podcasts, and I listen to other ones about A Song of Ice and Fire. Game of Thrones stuff. But it's just not as that content's drying up too.
Yeah.
But Kirk's is still very.
Yeah,
I don't mean
and that's the problem, right? Because not only Kirk stopped doing the podcast, but he spoiled us because it was every day 2 to 3 hours of content. Not all podcasts do that, and that's a huge.
And not all podcasts have also been able to create content during this crazy time. And I will say also, I should say that I also every day in my calendar would block off 10 to 11 unless I needed to do something so that I had time to call the show. So I've had that hour freed up now. So
I would never do that. Did you ever call LK? Did you ever call? I heard Adam call.
I did a few times. Yes.
I know. I never did.
Going back, there are some people that I didn't realize used to call all the time. From
voices I recognize.
There are a lot of people now who I'm like, oh, wait a second, I know who that is.
And I also block off conference calls. Like, they send an invite for 11:30. I'm like, decline.
Yep.
I was one of the first callers. Like
yes,
because they did that.
Latino cock.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
that was the week of when all hell's broke loose in Mass. Right, that they closed. That was the week they started. I remember I was in Florida. I went down there and I called from there, and I remember I was like the second or third person to call.
LK, didn't he think you were like from Kentucky or something?
Yeah, that was a joke, right?
That was a joke.
I remember why do you think this guy's from
Kentucky? But that was after I went to Mike and the Minifans the first time.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, this guy's actually Latino, like, or he's a good actor. I still think he's from like Cuba, Kentucky.
Right. But when you called and they said that first time, because I literally just listened to this a couple days ago, Steve said at the time that you were in Florida. And I remember being surprised when I found out you were living in Massachusetts. And I could never figure out if I was just being racist and assuming you lived in Miami, or if there was a reason why I thought you lived in Miami. But now I realize that I thought you lived in Miami because Steve mentioned that you were calling from Florida.
I was excited you were in Miami. Like, oh, this guy's going to be great. I'm going to find him.
I know. Yeah, it would be awesome. I mean, one day, Ned. One day.
So what have you been doing, LK?
I listen to a few business podcasts, mainly how I built this. If you are into startups and like the business world, I highly recommend. But I usually listen to that one when I was traveling. I don't like listening at home, so I'm pretty much like heads down on work, like you, Adam. Like I'm trying to concentrate to work. I took into a few new responsibilities, so I'm trying to do that. Trying to focus also more on my side business. So here and there, I listen to a few old episodes, but not as much. But it's hard, like you said, Nat. It's not a 2 to 3 hour commitment.
Right.
For me, and I think for you guys, it was more like a 8 to 9 hour commitment with that damn work. Trying to screw with that, right? Because it wasn't only the show; it was the morning before the show and the afternoon after the show. So it's funny to kind of go back to normal where I spend like 8 to 9 hours actually working.
Yeah, and I also had like I had about an hour-long commute on the way home every day from work. So I used to try to time the show where I stopped listening no matter what to leave myself that hour for the commute. But LK, when you're working, do you listen to anything while you're working?
No, I'm not a music guy. So sometimes I do, but rarely. Like I've been like, so the past 2 days I was watching the Sacco video that Steve did last week. So I was watching that. I watch all the shows during the day, like just like listening to it sometimes.
What about you, Ned?
Yeah, I can't really focus on watching the YouTube shows. I'll listen to them, run them in the background. But I do like I can do serious spreadsheet work with good music that I like, or the show behind running in the background. But I will find something that I'll hear part of. I'll laugh, and that's the beauty of the podcast as opposed to radio. Remember, in radio, if you missed it, you missed it. And you might have gotten lucky that they repeat a show on the weekends as filler. Podcasts are fucking awesome.
Right.
You can stop them, play them whenever you want. I can download them before flight. Back when I was flying, get on a flight and then connect to the in-flight Wi-Fi, and then boom, you've got it. And I did it going up to Boston for Saco. I had a 3-hour flight to Boston. I had an entire fucking episode. It was great.
Yeah.
Growing up, I was a junkie for this station that you may have heard of. It was an AM station, 850 WEEI.
Yeah.
And so I used to always do my homework in like probably 7th grade on listening to EI. And then when I went to college is when they got that shitty app. So I started being able to stream it and keep doing it. So I actually have always, because of EI, been able to listen to like word shows. So like talking shows basically. And so I would listen to the podcast while I was working, but I also found the same thing that there would be times where I'd be like, wait a second, this sounds vaguely familiar when they'd be talking about something from the show 2 days later. And I'd be like, wait, this sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure I 100% got this. So then I'll go back and re-listen to it. Yep.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Ned, you were saying, you're talking about like re-listening the show. That's something that I've never done. I should try, because sometimes I miss some things that I see people tweeting, because I was listening to the show while working.
Right.
So I'll try to re-listen. I always thought that would be a waste of time, but it might not be.
No, it's not. No.
The funny thing is, you asked me if I was listening to something. I'm a very visual person, and I like to watch things instead of listening. So even growing up, like I would put the TV on and do my homework, like you, Adam, and you, Ned. I had no problem. No, I would actually concentrate with the TV on. And then I just lost interest on watching TV. But my point is, during COVID, I found 2 YouTube channels that I love it. One is this guy that his YouTube channel is called Sous Vide Everything. So he does sous vide of everything, like steaks, chicken, everything. So
shout out Medium Poppy.
Yeah, I just watch him, like cooking stuff. And the other one is these 2 bearded brothers that are butchers, and they teach people how to butcher animals. So they kill like
cool.
Yeah, they kill a cow, and they will show you how to skin the cow and get all the stuff out and cut the animal. So it's pretty cool. Like
kosher. I'm asking.
Shout out Sheldon.
Yeah. So it's like those are my 2 things, that I had found before, and I'm doubling down now. Yeah, but that's it.
And I do I'm grateful for the podcast, whether it's on whatever format it's on, because the frustrating thing about YouTube, LK, I'm sure you probably run into it, is, and I don't pay for it, so I just have
I did just because of this. This is the only reason why, because
the ads go on forever, and you got to constantly
stop not the ads.
Wait 5 seconds.
Not that. Background, right?
Exactly. Yes. Putting it on the background, being able to, because I pay for premium, I can lock my phone and it'll still play. Yeah. And it is just
that's also an
irritation. It was life changing. It was life changing.
I have to say, mine, the bigger one is the ads, because if you're not paying attention and you don't end it, you don't skip the ads after 5 seconds, they just keep going.
Yep.
I mean, I've run into 3 or 4, 15-second, 30-second ads, and I love Kirk's greeds, right? I don't want to listen to it.
Speaking of ads, right? Shout out to DC, because he's putting a lot of content out there, including our content. So thank you very much, DC.
Yep.
However, his ad reads are so fucking long. It's like at least 6 taps on the 30-second. And
you can tell that he was classically radio trained.
Yeah,
his ad reads are very radio, like classic radio.
But he knows the product. He knows the people behind the product.
Yep.
Which reminds me, my Red Dog order is coming late.
He reads from a paper. He doesn't know shit.
Oh, he knows.
Oh, really?
I believe it.
I believe it. Yeah, I think he digs. He knows how important that is.
Believe in DEC.
Yeah. Can you imagine that old fart, like THC or whatever? Come on. CBD, yeah.
I just realized my Red Dog order is running behind. It was due like 2 days ago. It's gonna come when I'm not here. Shit.
All right. So last thing on this topic to wrap it up, from me at least, is like Kirk is irreplaceable. I miss him dearly.
Yep.
I hope he gets healthy, and obviously his health is more important than anything. If he doesn't come back and do the show, fine, but he's just irreplaceable.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And we got some news today. Did you? I listened to the Steve and Mike show.
Yep.
And it was good. It was Steve sounded much more optimistic.
Much better. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, you both said it. If he never comes back, we've been given a humongous gift over the past year and a half. And
Correct.
if he does come back and it's not every day, or if it's like 50-minute shows now, or 15-minute shows now, or 3 hours, it is what it is. But so definitely thank you, Kirk. And we're all obviously, he's not a religious man, so I won't jump too far in, but obviously we're praying and hoping,
of course,
for his
T's and P's. T's and P's.
T's and P's. But
T's and P's.
Speaking of T's and P's, Ned, this isn't going to hit you as hard as it will hit LK and I, but we're definitely going to need some T's and P's.
Some wrestler die or something.
No. Well, yes, but no.
He's old, so
he's old, right? But we're going to need T's and P's because we. The summer's ending, and that means school is starting. And
I can sympathize.
Right. So, especially because now it's the ultimate question. So, New Jersey today, they officially announced that all schools can be run virtually, all public schools, but schools are allowed to open. However, all students must wear masks. Now, this is a big key for me because about 3 weeks ago, rather, all the Jewish schools around in New Jersey got together and said, we're all going to come up with one set of guidelines for going back in school. And part of that was that all the desks were going to be 6 feet apart. There'll be an extra classroom for each grade. And so this way they didn't force the students to have to wear masks all day.
Right.
Good.
Now that is different. Now that is changing because the new state guideline is that the students, no matter what, if they're indoors, need to wear a mask all day, and they can only have a short outdoor period where they are allowed to take it off, assuming they follow by social distancing. So for me, that's
private schools too?
Even in private schools. Yep. So for me, it's. I mean, listen, is it enforceable? No, but on the flip side, I can assure you, the last thing the Jewish schools want is to have it looked down at as well. If there's one case, right, and if there's one case that starts spreading, and people can point back to us and say, "Oh, look, there you go." But it's exactly. Yep. But it brings up the question. Summer working, right?
Yeah,
so working in the summer has been great.
Enough with Jews breaking into parks. And
right. Exactly. But I mean, over the summer, it's been a lot easier to work. My kids have been in camp. My baby's with the nanny. My wife brings the kids to camp. I pick them up from camp. I work all day. Fine. During the school year, and I don't know, LK, I'm excited to hear what you were doing. For me, it was, because my kids are in a Jewish day school, their day is longer. So their school is from 9 to 4. And
dude, what the fuck is up with that? Like,
I know, right?
You're born Jewish, you're fucked for life, right? It's longer school days,
Catholic schools.
Sabbath, like you can't eat for a week. Like, what the fuck, man?
And the other problem for me is that the nanny can't help them when it comes to like Hebrew homework or Judaic homework, and my wife isn't good with that, so it falls on me. So I basically was in a schedule.
You're not very smart either, right?
No. Oh God no. But I ended up in a schedule where I was basically taking all my calls during the day and, anything super timely. Other than that, all my other work was done after the kids went to bed. Right. And I spent my day Zooming school. So
Ned, stop crying now.
I hope schools, all I have to say is I don't think it's going to be sustainable, but I do hope that school will.
But this is all part of it. It's all.
I love how
Trump, to break you guys because Trump's causing this. It's bullshit. Because Tim was right, by the way. The disease or the virus is contagious, especially with children, but they don't get it. Now that does open up a whole bunch of doors. And I mentioned last night something happened. I now know someone who died of COVID, which I didn't know anybody, but I only met him once though. But if you want to believe Tim from Canton. It's a Chinese virus that was launched specifically for the weaker, the elderly, not the young. So it makes no sense to me that they can't do the 6 feet of separation. The idea about the schools, the desks 6 feet apart in an extra classroom. Come on. And also, if it's private and it's not being run by the government, Why the fuck do you have to pay attention to that? You could
Right.
come up with your own rules.
I'm gonna create a segment on this show, like the biggest tangent of the week. And like you and Ed just like go on
Yep.
tangents like
Oh,
no
yeah.
one.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
she called me while I was getting a hand job.
No,
And I gave her the wrong number.
Adam, that's the best. No, you didn't, Adam. gave
you
me
know
the right
what?
number.
Like the freaking topic was, hey, how do we adapt to working remotely and our kids? And Adam goes on this tangent of his dad life, and then you go and talk about the coronavirus. Like you guys are just like that's why I love you guys.
But I do feel bad for you guys because I can't imagine working at home like I do now. It's hard enough with my wife working at the same time because
Mhm.
she wants to work in the kitchen, and we do have a room for an office. She won't go there.
Yep.
So and I'm used to having I work from home anyway when I'm not traveling. So it's an adjustment. It's kind of worked out now, but I cannot imagine with kids.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? And I was talking to Miss LK the other day. Let's face it, right? From March to June, it was just like a big vacation.
Mhm.
Like I don't think any parent or majority of parents didn't take it serious. And it was like, hey, hey kids, you have 2 to 3 hours, if that per day, you're good, do your thing. But right now, thing is serious. Like I don't know. I honestly don't know if this is gonna be the only semester that they're gonna be online. If nothing changes from now until December, I'm already preparing myself that the next semester they will also be online. So we need to take this more seriously.
Yeah.
So we've already agreed, that from if they start Zoom meetings at 8,
Yeah.
they need to wake up at 7. At least no, get dressed,
Yeah.
have your breakfast. This is a school time. It's not
Correct.
pajama time that
Yep.
you happen to be learning something. So we need to be more, on top of the kids.
And the school should demand that, by the way.
Yeah,
They do.
I heard
They
that,
do,
right?
but who knows?
Some states.
In Chicago,
some
they just
states.
announced that.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, listen, the
But what,
school
did they
asked
announce
that,
that
but
they
that
have
you
to-
can't wear pajamas
Good.
Pajama.
to
I
class.
think it's good, but
Yeah.
also I think, like going back from a professional perspective, Ned, like you, I've been working from home for a while, and it takes a while to get used to it, right?
Mhm.
And I work with technology, so my company has always given me all the equipment and the means to do my job wherever I am. But it's not easy for people to get used to it all of a sudden, and also if you don't have the right equipment to do it, right? If your company doesn't provide you a laptop or a VPN access to systems and things like that, so it's not all like pretty stuff. It's not a easy road.
No, I think that remotely working though will probably stay much longer than, of course,
Oh,
the
yeah,
kids,
absolutely.
Yes.
right? Being in
Absolutely.
school.
So-
who knows what they'll?
But,
So
but
here's-
just one thing, Adam. But
Yeah.
I think I went to a meeting with a university one day. A lot of 2006. I was talking to a few, graduate professors. They were starting to look into remote learning, and the pitch that they had to students was, "Hey, a few classes will be online, and you're paying a lot of money. This is the equivalent of you building a gym in your house.
Yep.
You're paying a lot of money, but you need to have the
Right.
will
Yep.
to go
actually
there
good.
every
Yep.
day and
Yeah, yeah.
exercise. Because if you don't take that serious, we're not gonna pass you. You're gonna fail,
Yep.
right? And if you're not serious with your gym, you're not gonna lose weight or do whatever your goal is.
It's the routine. It's discipline.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it is. It is. It is.
So here's my question for you, LK. What would you prefer? Would you prefer if there has to be a period over the next year where the kids have to be at home for a period or a prolonged period, whatever? Would you prefer that happens right in the beginning, or that they go back to school and then have to go back home, and then it becomes again a game of limbo? Will they or won't they go back?
I mean, that's the only thing that I cannot jump on the open the school train.
Yep.
And I know that's a lot of Republicans mainly. They want everything to open.
Yep.
And I'm not a doctor. I don't know the long-term impact on that. I don't want to put my kids' lives at risk. I would never forgive myself if one of my kids die or have any severe problem because they went to school. Do I think that remote learning is the best way for K-12? Absolutely not. Am I willing to sacrifice a year and do that? Yes. Does it suck? Yes. But and
When
I
you put it that way,
understand. I have family
Yeah.
and relatives that if their kids don't go to school, they cannot work, and I know it's a sucky situation.
Yep.
I wish there was a way to find a happy medium, but if I had to choose, I would keep them from school as much as possible until there is a vaccine.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've read some counties, like Miami-Dade, for example, they were thinking about a model where high school kids would be fully remote,
Yep.
because they are older enough not
Yep.
only to learn but to be at home by
Yep.
themselves, right? And then elementary and middle school go to school because they are at an age that they cannot be alone, and then at least
Yep.
parents can go work, right?
Yep.
So
it's
this is a
tough.
model that
Yep.
could work in theory, right, on the PowerPoint, but in reality is like I don't think only the high school classes will be enough to
No.
fill with the
Right.
remaining students, because the
Right.
social distancing guidelines are so
Yep.
strict that I don't
Yeah,
think it will
hormone
be
driven,
Yeah.
enough.
hormone driven later teenagers. Like, I loved high school. I love college too, but
Yeah.
for guys, especially middle school was the worst. I can't
Yes.
imagine not interacting with my friends or
No.
Yeah.
trying to flirt with a girl or
Yep.
playing sport. That's not a life.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. But on the flip side, though, just from a mental health perspective, like I can't imagine
That factors
letting
into
my
it.
kids. I saw how great it's been for my kids to go to summer camp, like be socializing with other kids again, and like it was just so great for them, and so I want them to go to school for that reason.
Yeah,
And I'm so scared of the impact that it'll have, though, if they do go back and then they have to come back home again and restart.
Yeah,
all
but
this. I feel like that'll be so
Adam,
much worse.
but I think we cannot let this drama play on their heads, because
Correct.
they will play that
Yes.
into their favor.
Yep.
So
Or,
right.
look, this is our world. This is the world
Exactly.
war. This is a
However,
world war type of event.
I will say this, and I work technology. I work with education institutions. I sell technology for them to teach remotely, especially higher ed. But one thing that I will never support is remote learning in a normal situation for K-12.
Yeah.
Kids need to be with other kids. Kids need socialization. As soon as this fucking virus ends, I do
Yep.
not want to hear remote learning
Yep.
anymore for K-12. Like, these
Agreed.
kids need to be at school. Let's
Agreed.
invest all the remote learning things for higher ed and continuing education. No, leave
Yep.
fucking K-12 alone. They need to be at school.
I hate
agree.
taking my annual courses online, for work to stay certified or to stay current on certain policies and procedures. I fucking hate that. I'd much rather go to a campus for a day and have all of them taught than sit down for 6 1-hour lessons, interactive lessons.
Blackboard, right? With chalk.
Yep.
Yeah.
And chalk.
Yeah. No, but I mean but you know what I mean. But like just more interaction. I'm not learning shit. I'm just clicking buttons. To be honest.
No, that's true. That is true.
And I mean, a lot of those training are covered as anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
no, it's true, and I was talking to my sister about this the other day, and we basically agreed that the problem with the coronavirus is just there's so much gray, in the sense where if you are a firm believer that you need to be as protected as humanly possible, you're going to stay home. You're gonna quarantine. You're gonna be completely out of it. If you're someone on the other extreme end who you're like, forget all this, it's all bullshit, it doesn't matter, blah blah blah. You're gonna go out. You're gonna do what you want to do, and it doesn't matter what anyone else says. You don't have anything to worry about. But the vast majority of people are in the middle there, where every decision that we make now, every single fucking decision that I make when I wake up and decide, do I need to go to the store? Am I going to go see my parents? Or is this, that? There are 70,000 different scenarios that I now need to weigh in my head. That will this create a butterfly effect that will end with someone's death or something crazy like that? And it's just, that's the insane world that I'm so scared that we're entering here. But
so Ned, since you're a seasoned work from home person, tips for the listeners. Adapting.
Just very quick. I did it one time back in 2007, and I didn't do well at that job. I kept being very, very distracted. The fact is, you do have to work. I can't work with the TV like you guys can. My boss does that too. He runs the news in the background. Even if it's the Weather Channel for like a hurricane, I can't do it. Music is fine, but the idea is treat it like your office. Treat it like work.
Yep.
Put on a collared shirt every day. Don't wear a T-shirt.
Yep.
Don't get a little bit dressed up. Have your coffee here. Take a break the way you're supposed to, but get into a routine and be disciplined about it.
Yep.
Of course, we have our phones. We can be somewhere else working the phones. I do. Before I actually open up my computer, I am on the phone making calls or sending emails via phone, and after work too. But when you're 8:30 to 5:30, however you want to do it, just be dedicated to what you're doing and don't treat it casually.
Yep.
And I would say don't run the TV.
Right. And the thing that I would add to that is, and I've done my fair share of working from home also, and I actually have been running along with our HR for our company a series of mental health checks for people for working from home. I'm not running it. I'm organizing. I'm helping organize and get it going. Hey, if you have any help, what I've ultimately explained is that if you have any mental health questions, just find a podcaster and DM them.
Hello, Morris. I'm Dr. Adam Craig.
No, but along with that, Ned, and I think it's really important that for people who aren't used to working from home, besides the fact that yes, I have the same number of monitors and the same computer set up, and I wear a collar shirt every day, and I have my set workplace, not like today I'm going to work from the table and blah blah. It is me at my desk, correct? But aside from that, also, I don't have my separation anymore, and that I think is hard for people who aren't used to it. Is not having the separation of home and office, you have to make sure that you don't let yourself get burned out and fall into a trap of, my computer's right there, so all right, I'm just gonna keep working, or at 9 o'clock at night gonna go in and start working, or at 2 in the morning I can't sleep, I'm just gonna go work. Like, you have to make sure that you do give yourself that break and that you do sort of just shut down and pretend that the office is closed.
Right.
Yeah, so I think my tip is like create a routine, right?
Yep.
Wake up every morning, like get dressed or shower, whatever you usually do. Have your breakfast, and keep that separation that you kind of mentioned, right, Adam? Like, don't just like roll over and go to work, and get your computer and work from the bed. Like if you don't have an office, sit on the dining room table, or your sofa, or just like rotate. But create that routine of waking up, brush your teeth, make your bed. Go have your breakfast. But most importantly, like you said, like if you have nobody to talk with, like if you don't like your neighbors or don't know them, go for a walk. Like you need to have that break, because in the office you stop to go to the bathroom, you stop to like go have coffee, you stop to go smoke outside. So you gotta add those breaks and create that routine. But I think the most important is do not fall into the trap of doing house stuff during work hours. Like, let me go wash my laundry right now. Let me go watch, Judge Jerry or something, like whatever.
I'll go take my 30-minute lunch break and play video games. Like,
create a routine, stick with it. Make sure you take breaks, but don't make it like vacation.
That's like perfect advice as well, because I think most of the people I know said they picked up 3 hours of extra time alone in the commute or lack of commute.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. An hour and a half each way every day, whether you might be on the phone, but you're definitely not really focused on work because you're focused on driving, which requires your attention. So you've got 3 hours extra that you can do whatever you want with. You can
you don't need. Yeah, like I have kids, so I need to wake up early. But like if you don't need to wake up, you don't need to wake up 6 in the morning anymore. You can wake up at 8 and still start work at 9. Or wake up early, read more.
I'm going to bed at the same time that I used to be, but before I would wake up at 5 to go to work, and now I'm waking up at 7 with the kids, and those 2 hours has been it's been life changing.
Hey, so Adam, quick question. This door behind you, it has hinges on both sides. Oh, is that a double door?
It's a closet with a double door.
Oh, okay, because I couldn't see the middle. I was like, how is that a door with 2 hinges? But now I can.
Hang on.
Now I see it. Now I see the handles. Now it makes sense.
The handles. There you
Yeah,
go.
because he
My
was right
closet.
in front. Yeah, you were right in front of the two doors, so I
Sure,
couldn't.
you
Yeah.
couldn't see the handles, right?
It looked like one door, like with hinges on both sides.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
So now we
just my
just saw
closet.
Adam's wardrobe. There we go.
There you go.
All the Jewish stuff.
All
Yeah.
the Jewish stuff.
All right,
You go
boys.
through that closet and you fall into, it's real.
There's a menorah on the other side. There's a menorah at the end of my rainbow.
After seeing that sad closet,
Oh,
there's
come
no-
on. It's a good closet. There is some nice clothes in there.
of course, and a blowjob story for sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All of my
that's it.
suits are going to be out of style by the time we get out of COVID. All the suits I
Oh
have,
my
they'll
God.
be gone. They're
Seriously.
going to be out of style. I got like
Yep.
20 of them sitting there.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that's it, guys. I'm out of here. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
I am too.
Thank you guys.
Next week I'll be in Maine, so
Yeah,
Have a
we'll-
safe drive, Ned. I'll be in. I will likely be in the Cape next week.
we're in the Cape.
All right.
Yeah.
All the best to your father.
Have a good one.
Thank you.